Ikutan bang. Itu si Feran bang Jack, lu udah lihat belum?
Biarin.
Pura-pura nggak tahu.
Tuh, udah up tuh. Mana anjing? Nggak dapat nih, gue yakin. Nggak dapat. Gue yakin nggak dapat nih. Cari back attack bang Jack.
Gue juga nggak dapat nih, kecil terus gue anjing.
Wah, tidak.
Dapat dong.
Anjing. Weh, dapat dia anjing.
Eko Senpai gak dapat, mampus kau.
Waduh, Neko Senpai, cok. Nggak pede kalau lawan Neko Senpai.
Hmm?
Gua nggak pede kalau lawan Neko.
Kenapa?
Kenapa? Ya?
Nggak pede
Udah lu
aja.
mana bang Jack? Ikut gua.
Gak ada tebengan. Gak ada tebengan.
Ya, kudanya bau.
Bye bye.
Aku nggak punya tebengan ke Calpheon.
Aing mau.
Dapat lagi dia anjing.
Dapat dari ini. Gua lihat itu, coy.
Lunar Halloween.
Oh, gue pikir sih itu balas aja. Catatan gue. Soalnya ada notif. Lunik. Lunik.
Talk to skill instructor. Takros. Oh ini dia, General Goods Vendor. Colorins. Widih, pagi amat kok. Gua lihat lu stream Twitch ya kalau NW. Ya, gua stream Twitch kalau NW.
Kalau hit
Kalau Seeds di YouTube. Karena gue dimarahin
gimana sama siapa nih?
sama Mas Dowun.
Jauh siapa lagi?
Shout callernya Unity.
Hot colornya Unity bukan Baby Punk.
Gua kira ini.
Dowun. Enak.
Wih, Sentinel main. Let's go boys. Sentinel main.
Sentimental.
Ini gue lagi
Ya,
bikin
lawan
ID baru.
F4 key.
Gue tahan berapa lama main free to play tanpa ngeluarin duit.
Tetap aja kalah lu ntar sama S Alpha.
Iyalah, jelas lah anjing. Panutan itu. Welcome to Valley. Lu Niti mau titip pesan dong ke Ryujin, kata Aldi Obelix di Wips kagak balas-balas. Oke. Ya, gue di Unity. Sekarang gue nyari life skill guild buat ini. Ada lagi nggak ya?
Tense. Nice. Double kill.
Apa tense? Apa tuh tense le? Dolly Shine. Unity. Ryujin siapa ya Ryujin? Yang gue tau Red Fujin nih. Aneh jir gue ngeliatnya kalau nggak ada tenda. Bartali Farm. Setup dulu deh. Quick slot. Combat assistance matiin. Quick slot hotkey. Oh. Jadi nih karakter out bakal gue bikin free to play plus apa namanya red player content.
Lol.
Kan ini gue bikin witch. Paling ya naikin dulu witchnya PSP berapa, ntar kita ganti ke ninja
Oke.
atau assassin.
Assassin.
Cuman ini general private item. So I think di sini. Looking for guild, I'm new. Hippity hoppity. Corrupt of oil immortality. Giaf. Goblin Chief. Apa sih nih? Nusuk pakai dagger. Oh, dagger stepnya matiin aja anjing. Apaan nih? Witch pakai dagger step.
Sahzam.
Crown Castle site.
Hmm.
Looking for newbie guild yang nggak pakai Discord ada nggak ya?
Paham.
Oh. Kalau nggak beli Battle Pass, totalnya dapat berapa sih daunnya?
70-an.
70 ya. Buat kuda sama buat ini kali ya, Manos Riding Crop. We'll take fools. Enggak deh, paling penting paling choose your pet box. Fissure Wave. You have a new friend request. Interesting. Mana sih live? Bukan mana ya live ya? Bukan community friend. Tempest Cassandra Fiore anjing, namanya keren. Uh, oh ini. Oh sini. Oh iya pet. Ah Nama kuda gua adalah Wibu. Oh, ini minimapnya. 90 derajat animation. Shit. Ah, gimana sih? Kemarin choice bisa deh. Apa ya? Bener gak? Anjing masih TAA anjing.
Anjing keklik goblok. Ya sudahlah,
Ya sudah lah.
harus terpaksa buka relik sebiji kontol.
Kenapa?
Kontoru.
Kenapa emang?
Keklik satu.
Well,
Boleh mas Ge. Boleh.
Mulai weh, mulai.
boleh.
Mulai goblok, mulai. Mulai saiki ora, mulai. Mulai kon. Tahu, mulai ora kon.
Pulang dulu. Bye bye.
I'm going to show you that the game virtually just forces you into this and you can't get away from it. So now I'll try to click on FXAA and it says you can only use TAA. So there's a particular order that you need to click some buttons in order to get yourself into FXAA. I really hope they don't patch this because I think that TAA looks very blurry compared to FXAA. And so here's the steps to get into FXAA. So you're going to want to click lowest optimal, then remastered, hit enter. Then you go to AMD, you scroll up, and you choose FXAA. At that point, you can enable whatever else you want here, and you hit apply.
Bang Jack.
And that's basically it. This way, in this particular order, it's not going to force you into that TAA, and I think the game looks a lot better. And you'll notice that my FPS really only dropped by about maybe 20, like not even
gitu.
some, like I was at about 140
ngerti,
frames
ngerti.
before this in very low mode, and now I'm at 136. It really doesn't change your FPS too much, and it significantly increases how good your game looks. The other thing that I recommend is under effects, I really like to play in the warm setting. I feel like it looks a little bit closer to what I'm used to in very low, and it makes everything look super nice. You'll notice that compared to before, we now have puddles on the ground, we now have a lot more shadow detail. The game just in general looks a lot better. The only thing about this little trick about FXAA is it's going to make the faraway trees how good your game looks. The other thing that I recommend, and I think the game looks a lot better, and you'll notice that my FPS...
Ah, bentar masih FXAA. Masih TAA gimana ya?
FPS really only dropped by...
Lu mau apa? Mau lu hapus?
Mau gua hapus jadi not applied.
Ya lu bikin 0 lah.
Nggak, ada cara lainnya.
Oh ya udah.
About maybe 20, like not even some, like I was at about 140 frames before this in very low mode, and now I'm at 136. It really doesn't change your FPS too much, and it significantly increased some buttons in order to get yourself into FXAA. I really hope they don't patch this because I think that TAA looks very blurry compared to FXAA. And so here's the steps to get into FXAA. So you're going to want to click lowest optimal, then remastered, hit enter. Then you go to AMD, you scroll up, and you choose FXAA. At that point, you can enable whatever else you want here, and you hit pull up, and you choose FXAA. You're going to want to click lowest optimal, then remastered, hit enter. Then you...
Oh iya, oke, ngerti sekarang. Oke gitu, ya selesai beres. Selamat pagi kok, pagi. Nah gini kan keren. Dastar back si bajingan. Sage memori itu kayak ini ya, apa? Quick spell ya?
Ngilangin casting speed, casting apa? Animation.
Knowledge, Dastar back, naruh staff. Fluffy milk bread. Recover Zara Lynn's ring, wedding ring. Charm. Give the pouch of silver to Bobby Lauren. Value pack 7 hari. Sangat berharga. Tekton. Bro, skill rotation witch dong, lagi build di season plus juga. Oh, gua nggak tahu bro, ini gua new. Gua nggak pernah main witch. Ini gua new banget.
Awakening gua tahu.
Oh, pas banget ditunggu. Thanks, oke. Alejandro.
Wih, dia kelar anjing mapnya bangsat.
Map apa?
Itu si Wibu.
Oh, anjing, cepet juga. Berapa lama dia grinding itu?
Semalaman.
Langsung dapat semua.
Hmm.
GG. Naru dagger. English. Magic Lighthouse itu yang ngumpulin momon ya?
Namanya Magic Lighthouse.
Kalau yang biru itu buat mana ya?
Buat mana regen sama movement.
Oke. Alright. Kok suksesnya prime skillnya ada 2 sih? Ada kontrol sama ini.
Apa?
Succession skillnya kok ada 2, ada fokus, area gitu.
Oh lu ini nih ada pokoknya intinya bedanya itu satu protected tapi damage-nya kurang, satu unprotected tapi damage-nya lebih gede. Kalau nggak areanya lebih gede intinya itu. Terserah lu mau milih yang protected atau enggak. Biasanya yang unprotected itu damage-nya lebih gede.
Oke.
Biasanya. Dan kalau orang sih yang pilih yang protect sih.
Oke. Ada skill yang di lock nggak sih?
Apa?
Skill witch yang di lock?
Kalau gue sih awakening, jadi hampir semua pre-awakeningnya gue lock.
The fuck?
Kalau
Oke.
kalau gue pribadi. Tapi kalau lo main succession sih nggak harus. Paling yang perlu di lock itu kayak Magic Arrow di lock.
Magical
Magic
Evasion
Arrow gua
diambil lah ya.
Apa?
Magical Evasion.
Magical Evasion diambil dong, diambil. Yang nggak penting diambil tuh Dagger Step, Magical Shield. Buat awal-awal ya, Magical Shield, PA, Sage Memory itu nggak perlu.
Oke.
Healing juga nggak perlu. Mana Absorption di lock.
Healing gua ambil soalnya nggak ada ini gua. Nggak ada fairy.
Apa? Nggak ada fairy.
Hmm.
Ya, terserah sih itu. Kalau gue sih pakai spell Boneheart yang bola biru itu cukup.
Spellbound Heart itu bukannya mana ya?
Apa? Iya mana?
Bukan darah
Yang
kan?
lu bukan. Kalau gua darah emang gua lock, soalnya gua masukin di ini quick slot.
Oh.
Darah ya, itu gua masukin quick slot. Yang pertama perlu lu mentokin itu pokoknya yang jelas MMA. MMA skill fire sama skill thunder. Yang skill blizzard ntar lah.
Thundernya ada
Skill
dua, yang biasa apa yang chain?
Yang mana? Chain lightning itu buat ngepull doang anjing.
Oh.
Yang bawahnya lah yang lu pakai tuh.
Oke.
Terus sama earthquake ke kanan tuh diambil. Earth respawn ambil satu aja dulu cukup lah. Gak terlalu banyak
Oh.
harusnya. Yang paling penting tuh pokoknya teleport, magical evasion. Magical evasion sebenarnya satu pun juga cukup, itu cuma ngurangin di bagian stamina doang. Lainnya nggak terlalu ngurang. Magical evasion jadi satu sebenarnya cukup. Teleport yang perlu maksud. Teleport, speed spell, spellbound heart, magic lighthouse, sama pasif-pasifnya itu bawah semua itu. Itu sama skill yang paling utama, multiple magic arrow, skill api, skill petir, sama skill tanah. Atau enggak skill api sama skill tanah dulu deh. Soalnya
Oke.
skill petir agak banyak juga.
Oke.
Yang apa concentrated apa itu yang buat ngambil art arrow gak usah diambil. Kalau cuma buat grinding SP aja harusnya cukup. Ya. Saya habis ini mau tidur.
Cekik
Gua harus
Joni
cekik
dulu.
Dark Rift dulu.
Cekik Joni dulu.
Pokoknya semua skill tuh diawali dengan speed spell. Speed spell, MMA.
Oke. to Caesar. Caesar Clown. Traces of donut. Hippity hoppity.
We didn't see any significant changes in the user metrics, but I think we should leave it for a week to get more data. Other than that, we talked to legal about the other work stream, and it seems like they
A singular new design, a re-engineered system, and the finest material. This is Blinder 2.0. The horizontal slats are precision machined from high-grade mahogany, and the aerofoil shape minimizes drag to allow for smoother rotations of the slats. The new Blinder 2.0 combines the fundamental qualities of a luxury window treatment with revolutionary machine learning technology. The world's favorite blinds just got better, as it now comes in 4 finishes: ivory white, eggshell white, Navajo white, and off-white white. The tilt one has also been completely redesigned to maximize its durability and to allow for a new level of precision. All this and more make the Blinder 2.0 the most premium window blind ever.
Hi, I'm Eric Wang, founder and CEO of Blinder, and I'm here to talk about something very exciting for the company. As you saw, we just launched our new series of window blinds, and that's just the beginning. Because not only is the Blinder 2.0 the most innovative window blind ever, it is also saving the earth. Blinder's commitment to the environment spans everything we do, and that includes our window blinds themselves. Beginning last year, our maple wood slats are made with 100% recycled wood. And for Blinder 2.0, we're using 100% recycled quartz as well. Actually, we're doing something even better. We know that our customers have been accumulating lift quartz because they have to replace our blinds for every software update we push. So this year, we are removing the lift quartz from your window blinds. We have much to share in the coming years, and I'm proud to announce that by 2030, Blinder will be 100% carbon neutral. Back to me, where I'll be talking about the company's vision. What is Blinder? Excellent question. Blinder isn't just another unicorn story. though we are valued way beyond $1 billion, making me the youngest entrepreneur on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. But none of that matters. Blinder isn't just about window blinds and industry-leading software. Blinder is about people. Blinder is about trust, security, and privacy that make a difference, transforming the world as we know it, making the world a safer place through AI-enabled retargeting optimization and precise click-through attribution. I firmly believe we can only achieve greatness if we first achieve goodness. All right. Thank you everyone for joining the Q3 company-wide all-hands. Woo! Am I right? Okay, let's move on to our monthly Q&A. If you don't remember, it's actually part of our initiative to becoming more transparent as a company. So you can literally ask any questions.
So how's the Blinder data breach been affecting our performance?
Sorry, we can't answer any questions about the data breach. Next question.
But is there anything you can say? Because it would
It's
really
still pending
help.
investigation and it's above the secret. Next question.
Hi, Eric. I'm a product marketing manager on the Tiltone team. I've been at the company for a year now. Previously, I was actually on Facebook on the community team, and I just want to say I'm really loving the community that you built here. So, my question is, what plans do you have for the company in the next 5 years?
Yeah. As you know, we're not just a window blinds company. We're a privacy company. We plan on investing in our infrastructure to allow for a 360-degree view of our users and the market, allowing us to disrupt the industry. We plan on leveraging new talent by creating synergy through visibility in the next 5 years, which is all very exciting. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I have a question. Can we include NordVPN to our approved software list? See that we don't have any VPN apps available to us. Do I look like the IT guy to you? I mean, no. But I'm just kidding. I like to joke a lot. I'm kind of a cool CEO, so. But seriously, just send a request to IT and go. But I'm curious, why do we? Well, I mean, we work at a company sharing tons of sensitive information about our users and ourselves. No, I can't afford to slow down my employees with a VPN. You know what they say for startups, right? Move fast, leak data. It's move fast, break things, but anyways, NordVPN won't slow you down. It's literally the fastest VPN. Let me show you. Alright, well, it's still annoying to use. It's literally and you get end-to-end encryption using state-of-the-art cryptography. Do I look like a technical founder to you? No company has ever succeeded because of how great their tech is. It's all about the product and the vision. I'm going to veto your VPN app. You can also put yourself in another country and get Netflix from that country. So you can VPN to Japan and watch all your Read anime shit? No way. My discount link is nordvpn.com/JOMA. Use this link or code JOMA and get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift with a huge discount.
Hi, I was wondering why we only have 14 vacation days. Facebook has 21 days. Do you think we'll ever be changing our PTO policy?
Yes, we are still working on that. There are a lot of moving pieces to changing something like this, so it won't be anytime soon, unfortunately. But I can assure you that the team is working very hard to try to make that happen. Anyways, we are running out of time, unfortunately, so thank you for all your questions and have a good weekend.
I really hope I can.
What are you doing for Waymo, Cruise, and Uber?
Yeah, so what we've done at scale is built the data platform for AI. So
AI is really built on top of data, and these algorithms require billions and billions of examples of labeled data to be able to perform in a safe or reliable way. So
this 22-year-old interviewed me for a full-time position and rejected me. Just kidding. He was 19 when he interviewed me and rejected me. That was 3 years ago, and I was a senior at Waterloo. Well, in my defense, they never actually explicitly rejected me, they just ghosted me after the interview. I'll show you the emails later.
Let's take a look at their old website.
This company used to be called Scale API, and it wasn't focused only on labeling trading data. They built an API for human labor.
We're gonna go back to August 2016.
Huh. I don't think that's it. Ah, okay, that's more like it. So kind of like TaskRabbit, but without the in-person stuff. So like phone surveys, transcription, e-commerce tagging, some categorization, outsourcing bitch work, essentially. Now they only focus on categorization, aka labeling for model training. So refined bitch work.
Scale was founded by Lucy Guo and Alexander Wang. Man, even his name looks like a startup.
Anyways, back then there were only 2 co-founders and they were looking to hire their first engineer. So I applied. Here's the email exchange we had. Lucy Guo. I actually matched with her on Tinder a year ago. She didn't respond to me. But then again, my opening message wasn't that great. So apparently my resume stood out because I did a lot of different roles, so that's good. As a startup, we look for someone who can wear many hats. Well, that's good. They quickly hit me up with a take-home project. Oh, shit. Well, I mean, it's too late now. The project asked me to create post endpoints for them so their customers can send annotation box requests, aka send images, and then we, or Scale API, will have their contractors draw boxes around whatever they want and then send them back to the customers where they will probably use it for some machine learning model or something. So this project just focuses on this part and the UI for the Scale contractors to actually draw the boxes. Actually, I think I still have the code for this. Let me whip it out. Alright, so here's what I built so that the contractors can use to draw boxes. Alright, let's send it some requests. So here you see there's 4 images or 4 requests that I'm sending. Alright, and then we'll see this. And here you go. So you could see now that you have a few requests. And here you see a picture of a few cows. And here it says you have to annotate baby cow and big cow. And then the instructions, it says draw a box around each baby cow and big cow. So that's cool. So I think it's pretty simple. You just, you know, draw them baby cow, baby cow, baby cow. Oh no, that's not a baby cow. So, you know, you can exit out, switch to big cow, and then annotate the big cow. Then you can also reset it. You could also say it's broken. I don't know if ever it's broken. And then there's also the urgency here. You could also sort by urgency if you want. So here you go. You have urgency, sort by urgency, sort by date. You could also click another one if you don't want to do this one right now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let me just annotate this baby cow, baby cow, baby cow, and then mama cow. This will be saved in the database and sent to the customer, and the customer will receive these.
You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.
Alright, so today we are going to talk about money. I was inspired by Stephen Graham because he was talking about his multiple income sources, but because I'm an idiot, or a baller, you know, tomato, tomato, I feel like it's more fitting that I show you guys my reckless spending. So as you know, I got $45,000 in bonus with my new software engineering job. So what I did was that I took $19,000 of it and put it into my 401k so that the company... Dude, I'm kidding, man, dude. I'm not a loser. I don't do 401ks. Also, you didn't click this video for this. You clicked it for my reckless spending. So I'm gonna show you. So as you can see, if I do my spending over time, it's pretty much a hockey stick. I mean, usually people would be pretty happy about a hockey stick graph. But I mean, this is my spending, so I don't think that's a great thing. So as you can see, according to this, my last month spending was $18,900. And well, I mean, we should dig deeper into it because it's not always accurate. Because sometimes the program, they look at transfers and they think that's a spending, but it's actually not. Or I actually spend more and it just wasn't recorded on this program. So we're gonna try to export all of that into an Excel spreadsheet and then I'll dive deep into it.
Alright, before we continue this video, I just want to say that viewers' discretion is advised. I made this video for entertainment purposes. Please do not spend all your money recklessly like me. And you have to know that my net worth is totally fine. It has been growing faster than ever. So please spend responsibly. Do not do like me. It's only for entertainment. And if you're wondering, how is my net worth still growing so fast despite me spending so much? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Is it because I'm a trust fund baby? I don't know. Is it because of my bitcoins? I don't know. Enjoy the video.
Alright, so I'm having problems with the autofocus, so I'm gonna have to put this in the background. So in case you were wondering why I have a Bitmoji, this is what I use it for. Alright, okay, there we go. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to rename the description just for one, privacy reasons, and also two, so that I actually remember what it is. Because, you know, sometimes the names are quite cryptic, it doesn't mean anything, so I'm gonna do that first. And then secondly, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to separate them into buckets of spendings, because I don't like the preset spendings that they use, so I'm gonna bucket them into birthday gift, business expense, charity, entertainment, food, I don't effing know, materialistic desires, medical, other, rent, self-improvement, transportation, and travel. Before you ask me what they are, I'm gonna go through them, okay, so don't worry about it. And the I don't effing know is just because I didn't want to sort them anymore. There were a lot of small purchases from Amazon, and I don't have time. I don't have time to sort through all of them, okay? All right, so I got it. I did a lot of data cleaning because, you know, I'm a data scientist. So I ordered it by the amount spent, so you could see it in order of amount spent. All right, so let's go to the summary now. I made a pivot table and then, you know, a graph because why not? Honestly, it's not even necessary. But if you look at the breakdown, the biggest expense is this line here, which is materialistic desires, which is everything that's related to shopping and stuff that I don't need. So that is the highest spending with $4,000. And then the next highest is entertainment. That is like concerts. What else? It's like concerts, comedy shows, stuff like that. And then here, it's like business expense. This is related to like cameras, anything that I need to run my YouTube channel. Well, I mean, I actually don't need it. It's more... Okay, fine. Some of it can go to materialistic spending, but it's related to YouTube. So I'll put it in business expense. And then we have food, which is $1,000, which includes, you know, restaurants. Actually, it only includes restaurants. I never do groceries, so it's mainly restaurants. And then we got rent, which is my rent. I mean, I don't pay 4,600. I don't know if you saw my other video and I said I paid 4,600. Chill, man. I have roommates. It was only clickbait, okay? I only pay 1,900. And then we have self-improvement, which is the smallest bucket of my spending. For self-improvement, I have a personal training and maybe Audible or something like that. But yeah, as you can see, I don't spend a lot on that. I don't do a lot of self-improvement. And then transportation, which is like Uber and stuff. What the? $1,000. Dude, I might as well rent a Tesla or something. Fuck. So here it says 22,000. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe like I'm going to like clean it up a little bit. Okay, so let's look at it deep dive style. So monthly rent, $1,900. Okay. The Apple Watch Hermes, $1,400. KCON LA tickets, I bought 3 of them. So this shouldn't really be 1,300. I should divide this by 3. So let's see, this divided by 3. So then $1,000 for my new bed sheets, bedding, duvet, and all that. Totally worth it because now when I sleep naked, it feels like, you know, silky hands are all over my body. It feels really good. And then here is Hamilton tickets. I bought a Hamilton ticket for my brother, his fiance, and me. And yeah, it's on me. So this one, I have to leave it there because even though I bought 3 of them, they're not paying me back. All right, and then next we have AXO. This is Trevor Noah. Yeah, so for Trevor Noah, I bought 2 tickets. That was, that was for me and another friend, and that cost $964. I can't divide that by 2 because they're not paying me back. Okay, and then I bought a Pixel 3 XL. It's right here. Why did I buy it? No idea. I think it's like, it's a hedge, you know, in case one day Android becomes better than iPhone, or that one day iPhones are not cool anymore. So at least the transition will be a lot easier for me because now I use both. So it's a lot easier for me to transition into Android when the time comes. And then the next spending, 3 of them, $640. That is my flight ticket to Japan because I am going to Japan this year. I bought them for my friends, but they will pay me back. So I will delete these 2. Okay. Oh wait, oh shit. I wanted to say the joke. I wanted to say, oh yeah, and the reason why I bought 3 tickets to Japan is because I want both of the seat next to me to be empty. So I bought all 3 of them. But no, I'm not that rich. And then, all right, $633. This is a business expense. It's kind of like a box. It's for doing live videos using my camera. I use it for my Tech Interview Pro. Might as well plug Tech Interview Pro now. Good news, we added new videos about system design and also about how to transition into software engineering. And then the reason why I bought this live video thing is that we do live videos every 2 weeks for the Facebook group, and then you could ask us Q&As and stuff like that. If you're interested, click on techinterviewpro.com. All right, and then next we got Ticketmaster. What is this? It's 544 bucks. What did I buy? I don't remember. Fuck. What the fuck did I buy? July 4th. Shit, what the fuck? Oh, got it. Okay. Got it. Oh yeah, so I bought tickets for Ali Wong. Front seat. Okay, actually not front seat. The row before the front seat because I don't want them to talk to me while they do their show because I always get nervous. So next we have, wow, that's a lot. We have 4 Facebook charges. 2 of them is for advertising. I mean, you know, how do you expect my channel to grow? You really think that I make good content, which is how I grow my channel? Don't be so naive. I pay for my subscribers. And then the other 2 is for Mental Health America, which is a charity. I'm doing a fundraiser and I put in $500. It's not 1,000, so this is wrong because I kind of did it twice by accident. So it's only $500. I'll talk about that later. I don't want you guys to think I'm a good person or anything. All right, and then $440, that is my virtual assistant. I pay for a virtual assistant so that they can manage my calendar, they can respond to some emails, they can help me do some invoicing and stuff like that. Very useful. Highly recommend it if you're rich. And then the next one, Toman, that's actually just a guitar. So I bought a guitar, you can see it right here. Yeah. Let's see. And then I got a lot of business expense here. Zapier, WordPress, Venmo. Why the fuck did I buy WordPress? I don't know. Okay, some of it is pretty dumb. Okay, I guess you got the gist of it. You got the bulk of my spending. And let's go back to the pivot table and see how it looks. It's not that bad. It's still $19,000. Okay. Crazy thing. Honestly, I am okay with everything, but what the hell? Transportation is so high. Let me look at that. Uber, 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 Lyft. So clearly, I like Uber more. But holy shit, $1,000? Is that right? Dude, I spent $1,000 in a month. Holy shit. Dude, I might as well just pay for a Tesla or something. Oh. You know what? You live and learn. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video in terms of money-wise. So, as you can see, travel, $900. It's not that bad, actually. Transportation, $1,000. I could do better in that. Self-improvement, I shouldn't worry about spending more in self-improvement, but clearly I don't care about my self-improvement that much. Rent, $1,900. I can't change anything. Those are some utility costs, whatever. Other, I don't want to go into that. But wait, what is an other? Let me go check. Cash advance interest. Alright, welcome. So today we are going to talk about my productivity setup and what I've done with it. And we are going to talk about mainly my primary setup, even though that I have my secondary setup all the way to the back. But I didn't prepare anything for that one, so we'll be talking about this setup. I use this setup for my morning routine by watching this hunky man. He helps me do my 10-minute stretches, which I've been actually doing every day. And afterwards, before I start work, I do some higher intensity exercise. It's only a 5-minute video, but you know, I'm working on my consistency first. I have a water bottle on my desk at all times. It's actually a milk jug. I use this because it's exactly 8 cups of water, which is what you need in a day. And I also use this because it's quite heavy, so sometimes I accidentally do a bicep curl while I drink my water, which is the most strength training I'll do in a day nowadays. And then for my real job, I work as a software engineer, so I mostly use their internal tools, which I can't show, but I'll use similar tools here for demo purposes. So I have an IDE in the middle usually, a terminal on the right, maybe emails on the left, some SQL editor or dashboards on the top monitor, and then maybe some Blackpink also for music while I work. It looks different depending on what I'm working on. Sometimes I just chat with my coworkers the whole day about work stuff. For editing videos, I have my bottom monitor open up Premiere Pro so I can see a huge timeline. It makes editing real fast. And then the top monitor for extra space to open folders, transfer files, browse the web. I have everything I need. This setup is quite perfect. The only thing missing is my talent. When I make educational videos for Joma class, I use this setup to edit animations like this one about time complexity. And then for the top monitors, I usually have my script I can reference to when I do my voiceovers for the videos. And then I also have my IDE open to record myself coding the things I'm teaching. It could be something else. It could be a SQL editor if I'm teaching SQL. And then for entertainment, anyways, let's talk about the gear now. So the first thing you see here is the big ass monitor. The name is actually a little bit complicated, so I'm just gonna leave it in the description. But I know this one thing, it's 79 inches. I actually didn't buy it, LG just sent it to me. And when they sent it to me, I thought it was quite overwhelming, right? When I first started using it, I thought it was way too...
Chapter 1. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time, it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid, reading this because you think it's fiction, great. Read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. You might be one of us. And once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too. And they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. Until a few months ago, I was a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. I could start at any point in my short, miserable life to prove it, but things really started going bad last May, when our 6th grade class took a field trip to Manhattan. 28 mental case kids and 2 teachers on a yellow school bus, heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I know, it sounds like torture. Most Yancey field trips were. But Mr. Brunner, our Latin teacher, was leading this field trip, so I had hopes. Mr. Brunner was this middle-aged guy in a motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and a scruffy beard and a frayed tweed jacket, which always smelled like coffee. You wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told stories and jokes and let us play games in class. He also had this awesome collection of Roman armor and weapons, so he was the only teacher whose class didn't put me to sleep. I hoped the trip would be okay. At least, I hoped that for once I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, was I wrong. See, bad things happen to me on field trips. Like at my 5th grade school, when we went to the Saratoga battlefield, I had this accident with the Revolutionary War cannon. I wasn't aiming for the school bus, but of course I got expelled anyway. And before that, at my 4th grade school, when we took a behind-the-scenes tour of the Marine World Shark Pool, I sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took an unplanned swim. And the time before that, well, you get the idea. This trip, I was determined to be good. All the way into the city, I put up with Nancy Bobofit, the freckly red-headed kleptomaniac girl, hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with chunks of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny. He cried when he got frustrated. He must have been held back several grades, because he was the only 6th grader with acne and the start of a wispy beard on his chin. On top of all that, he was crippled. He had a note excusing him from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular disease in his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him, but don't let that fool you. You should have seen him run when it was enchilada day in the cafeteria. Anyway, Nancy Bobofit was throwing wads of sandwich that stuck in his curly brown hair, and she knew I couldn't do anything about it back to her, because I was already on probation. The headmaster had threatened me with death by in-school suspension if anything bad, embarrassing, or even mildly entertaining happened on this trip. I'm going to kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay, I like peanut butter. He dodged another piece of Nancy's lunch. That's it! I started to get up, but Grover pulled me back to my seat. You're already on probation, he reminded me. You know who'll get blamed if anything happens. Looking back on it, I wished I'd decked Nancy Bobofit right then and there. In-school suspension would have been nothing compared to the mess I was about to get myself into. Mr. Brunner led the museum tour. He rode up front in his wheelchair, guiding us through the big echoey galleries past marble statues and glass cases full of really old black and orange pottery. It blew my mind that this stuff had survived for 2,000, 3,000 years. He gathered us around a 13-foot tall stone column with a big sphinx on the top and started telling us about how it was a grave marker, a stele, for a girl about our age. He told us about the carvings on the sides. I was trying to listen to what he had to say, because it was kind of interesting, but everybody around me was talking, and every time I told them to shut up, the other teacher chaperone, Mrs. Dodds, would give me the evil eye. Mrs. Dodds was this little math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket, even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to ride a Harley right into your locker. She had come to Yancey halfway through the year when our last math teacher had a nervous breakdown. From her first day, Mrs. Dodds loved Nancy Bobofit and figured I was devil spawn. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey." Real sweet, and I knew I was going to get after-school detention for a month. One time, after she'd made me erase answers out of old math workbooks until midnight, I told Grover I didn't think Mrs. Dodds was human. He looked at me, real serious, and said, "You're absolutely right." Mr. Bruner kept talking about Greek funeral art. Finally, Nancy Bobofit snickered something about the naked guy on the stele, and I turned around and said, "Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Bruner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" My face was totally red. I said, "No, sir." Mr. Bruner pointed to one of the pictures on the stele. "Perhaps you'll tell us what this picture represents." I looked at the carving and felt a flush of relief, because I actually recognized it. "That's Kronos eating his kids, right?" "Yes," Mr. Bruner said, obviously not satisfied. "And he did this because... well..." I racked my brain to remember. "Kronos was the king god, and..." "God?" Mr. Bruner asked. "Titan," I corrected myself. "And he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods, so, Kronos ate them, right? But his wife hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock to eat instead. And later, when Zeus grew up, he tricked his dad, Kronos, into barfing at his brothers and sisters." "Ew!" said one of the girls behind me. "And so there was this big fight between the gods and the Titans," I continued. "And the gods won." Some snickers from the group. Behind me, Nancy Bobofit mumbled to a friend, "Like we're going to use this in real life. Like it's going to say on our job applications, 'Please explain why Kronos ate his kids.'" "And why, Mr. Jackson," Bruner said, to paraphrase Miss Bobofit's excellent question, "does this matter in real life?" "Busted," Grover muttered. "Shut up," Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got packed too. Mr. Bruner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about his question and shrugged. "I don't know, sir." "I see." Mr. Bruner looked disappointed. "Well, half credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did indeed feed Kronos a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dodds, would you lead us back outside?" The class drifted off, the girls holding their stomachs, the guys pushing each other around and acting like doofuses. Grover and I were about to follow when Mr. Bruner said, "Mr. Jackson." I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going. Then I turned toward Mr. Bruner. "Sir?" Mr. Bruner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old and had seen everything. "You must learn the answer to my question," Mr. Bruner told me. "About the Titans? About real life, and how your studies apply to it." "Oh. What you learn from me," he said, "is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will only accept the best from you, Percy Jackson." I wanted to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool on tournament days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, "What ho!" and challenged us, sword point against chalk, to run to the board and name every Greek and Roman person who had ever lived, and their mother, and what god they worshipped. But Mr. Bruner expected me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I have dyslexia and attention deficit disorder, and I had never made above a C- in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better, and I just couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder, while Mr. Bruner took one long, sad look at the steel, like he'd been at this girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. The class gathered on the front steps of the museum, where we could watch the foot traffic along Fifth Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I'd ever seen over the city. I figured maybe it was global warming or something, because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We'd had massive snowstorms, flooding, wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was a hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchable crackers. Nancy Bobovit was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse, and of course Mrs. Dodds wasn't seeing a thing. Grover and I sat on the edge of the fountain, away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everybody wouldn't know we were from that school, the school for loser freaks who couldn't make it anywhere else. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Bruner. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep philosophical comment to make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. I watched the stream of cabs going down Fifth Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little ways uptown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so bad to jump into a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. She'd send me right back to Yancey, remind me that I had to try harder, even if this was my 6th school in 6 years, and I was probably going to get kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Bruner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicapped ramp. He ate celery while he read a paperback novel. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Bobofit appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she'd gotten tired of stealing from the tourists, and dumped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. Whoops! She grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange, as if somebody had spray-painted her face with liquid Cheetos. I tried to stay cool. The school counselor had told me 1,000,000 times, "Count to 10, get control of your temper." But I was so mad, my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy Bobofit was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming, "Percy pushed me!" Mrs. Dodds materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see? The water. Like it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was in trouble again. As soon as Mrs. Dodds was sure poor little Nancy was okay, promising to get her a new shirt at the museum gift shop, etc., etc., Mrs. Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I'd done something she'd been waiting for all semester. "Now, honey." "I know," I grumbled. "A month erasing workbooks." That wasn't the right thing to say. "Come with me," Mrs. Dodds said. "Wait!" Grover yelped. "It was me. I pushed her." I stared at him, stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dodds scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his whiskery chin trembled. "I don't think so, Mr. Underwood," she said. "But you will stay here." Grover looked at me desperately. "It's okay, man," I said. "Thanks for trying." "Honey," Mrs. Dodds barked at me. "Now." Nancy Bobofit smirked. I gave her my deluxe I'll-kill-you-later stare. Then I turned to face Mrs. Dodds, but she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently at me to come on. How'd she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot, when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know I've missed something, as if a puzzle piece fell out of the universe and left me staring at the blank place behind it. The school counselor told me this was part of the ADHD, my brain misinterpreting things. I wasn't so sure. I went after Mrs. Dodds. Halfway up the steps, I glanced back at Grover. He was looking pale, cutting his eyes between me and Mr. Brunner, like he wanted Mr. Brunner to notice what was going on. But Mr. Brunner was absorbed in his novel. I looked back up. Mrs. Dodds had disappeared again. She was now inside the building, at the end of the entrance hall. Okay, I thought, she's going to make me buy a new shirt for Nancy at the gift shop. But apparently that wasn't the plan. I followed her deeper into the museum. When I finally caught up to her, we were back in the Greek and Roman section. Except for us, the gallery was empty. Mrs. Dodds stood with her arms crossed in front of a big marble frieze of the Greek gods. She was making this weird noise in her throat, like growling. Even without the noise, I would have been nervous. It's weird being alone with a teacher, especially Mrs. Dodds. Something about the way she looked at the frieze, as if she wanted to pulverize it. "You've been giving us problems, honey," she said. I did the safe thing. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She tugged on the cuffs of her leather jacket. "Did you really think you would get away with it?" The look in her eyes was beyond mad. It was evil. "She's a teacher," I thought nervously. "It's not like she's going to hurt me." I said, I'll try harder, ma'am." Thunder shook the building. "We are not fools, Percy Jackson," Mrs. Dodds said. "It was only a matter of time before we found you out. Confess, and you will suffer less pain." I didn't know what she was talking about. All I could think of was that the teachers must have found the illegal stash of candy I'd been selling out of my dorm room. Or maybe they'd realized I got my essay on Tom Sawyer from the internet without ever reading the book, and now they were going to take away my grade. Or worse, they were going to make me read the book. "Well?" she demanded. "Ma'am, I don't—" "Your time is up," she hissed. Then the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals. Her fingers stretched, turning into talons. Her jacket melted into large, leathery wings. She wasn't human. She was a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouthful of yellow fangs, and she was about to slice me to ribbons. Then things got even stranger. Mr. Brunner, who had been out in the front of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. "What ho, Percy!" he shouted, and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dodds lunged at me. With a yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, but when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen anymore. It was a sword. Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament day. Mrs. Dodds spun toward me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped the sword. She snarled, "Die, honey!" and she flew straight at me. Absolute terror ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. The metal blade hit her shoulder and passed clean through her body as if she was made of water. Hiss! Mrs. Dodds was a sandcastle and a power fan. She exploded into yellow powder, vaporized on the spot, leaving nothing but the smell of sulfur and a dying screech and a chill of evil in the air, as if those two glowing red eyes were still watching me. I was alone. There was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Brunner wasn't there. Nobody was there but me. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have been contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside. It had started to rain. Grover was sitting by the fountain, a museum map tented over his head. Nancy Bobofit was still standing there, soaked from her swim in the fountain, grumbling to her ugly friends. When she saw me, she said, "I hope Mrs. Kerr whipped your butt." I said, "Who?" "Our teacher. Duh." I blinked. We had no teacher named Mrs. Kerr. I asked Nancy what she was talking about. She just rolled her eyes and turned away. I asked Grover where Mrs. Dodds was. He said, "Who?" But he paused first and wouldn't look at me, so I thought he was messing with me. "Not funny, man," I told him. "This is serious." Thunder boomed overhead. I saw Mr. Brunner sitting under his red umbrella, reading his book as if he'd never moved. I went over to him. He looked up, a little distracted. "Ah, that would be my pen. Please bring your own writing utensil in the future, Mr. Jackson." I handed Mr. Brunner his pen. I hadn't even realized I was still holding it. "Sir," I said, "where's Mrs. Dodds?" He stared at me blankly. Who? The other chaperone, Mrs. Dodds, the pre-algebra teacher. He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. Percy, there is no Mrs. Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there has never been a Mrs. Dodds at Yancey Academy. Are you feeling all right? Chapter 2. 3 old ladies knit the socks of death. I was used to the occasional weird experience, but usually they were over quickly. This 24/7 hallucination was more than I could handle. For the rest of the school year, the entire campus seemed to be playing some kind of trick on me. The students acted as if they were completely and totally convinced that a Mrs. Kerr, a perky blonde woman who I'd never seen in my life until she got on our bus at the end of the field trip, had been our pre-algebra teacher since Christmas. Every so often I would spring a Mrs. Dodd reference on somebody, just to see if I could trip them up, but they would stare at me like I was a psycho. It got so I almost believed them. Mrs. Dodds had never existed. Almost. But Grover couldn't fool me. When I mentioned the name Dodds to him, he would hesitate, then claim she didn't exist. But I knew he was lying. Something was going on. Something had happened at the museum. I didn't have much time to think about it during the days, but at night visions